scared. People are scared of trying new things. People are students. You're students. You're not a fucking entrepreneur. You're a student. You're a student. All you want to do is read and consume and ponder, make pretend, and talk about how you're gonna. Fuck you're gonna. Go do it. You can only read so much. You have to do. I'm an extreme. Maybe I'm different. I don't learn that way. I don't read anything. That's not right. But is it right to read all of them? Shit. How many fucking books from these experts do you need? Do shit. Learn. Put in the work.
Hey everybody, this is the Millennial Way Show. My name is Ismael Triviño. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for being connected to all our media platforms. Today, finally, this dream happened. It's happening right now. Our next guest is, speechless. 4 times bestseller author from the list of New York Times, also from Wall Street Journal Times. Owner of this huge platform, Vaynermedia. Latest book coming out pretty soon. It's an honor to have this rock star of the social media era, Mr. Gary, the original, only Vaynerchuk.
Thank you,
Gary, thank you very much.
That's very nice.
I don't know if you saw this tweet. I assume not. That a few days ago, I was like, hey man, I hope that you can at least check this tweet. Hopefully we can make it happen. And today we are here in Miami, Florida, in this spectacular scenario. Before we're going to talk about Agent 2021,
sure.
And before talking about your latest book,
yes,
let's talk about a little bit what's happening in the news today. And today what's happening is cryptocurrency.
Yes.
We have seen a lot of trending media and mainstream media saying that that's a roller coaster. Nobody knows what's happening. It was in 17,000, now it's 9,000, 11,000. What's your view in cryptocurrency?
I think the blockchain is an incredible technology. I don't have great expertise or any feeling or guessing ability about what Bitcoin's going to do, but I do think the blockchain is an incredible decentralizing entity, and there's a lot of fees and a lot of things that don't need to be there. So I think the concept of the blockchain is incredible. As far as Bitcoin, is it going to go up, down, and different? I don't bet on stocks and currency. I don't know. I'd be guessing. And I think one of the things that has allowed me to be the rock star of this era, or whatever, you guys being interested in interviewing me, is being right and it is very important. I don't like to guess. So I don't know where crypto is going as the brands that we know, Ethereum, things of that nature. But I do think that blockchain is a very important technology, and a lot of things can be built on top of it. And I'm interested in that.
Do you think that blockchain by itself will at some point replace the paper money?
I think blockchain itself can replace the internet. It's a very big thought. Meaning money's been replaced. Like Venmo and credit cards and have eliminated money.
Do you think it will be a 5 years period, 10 years period?
Meaning the replacement of money?
Yeah.
Money is cultural. There's some countries where it's completely being eliminated. Estonia is going to, and then there's, places where it's, a little bit more held. I don't know. Actually, I'll be very honest with you. I don't think that matters at all. If you really think about it, if I asked you in reverse, what's the impact of us going all digital versus paper money? I don't think it's a big thing. It's an emotional thing. It may seem important. If you're 87 and you kept money under your mattress your whole life, it may seem bigger than it is, but credit cards changed that game a long time ago.
Yeah, but the banks are scared that with this new cryptocurrency, apparently they're like,
more than banks, governments are worried about it.
Exactly.
Oh no, blockchain is a huge technology. Huge. I haven't done enough thinking and educating to really have poignant points of view on this. Here's what I can say. The way I feel about it is, wow. How could have I ever thought of something like Bitcoin 5 years ago? I never would have, And that's what excites me. In the same way, we always talk about things like a flying car or living on Mars. That's how we think of things. Meanwhile, it was the internet. Meanwhile, it was cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
To me, it's a trend of technology just getting started. and like what's coming next. Like I'll give you an example. Something I can think of is all of us wearing very small earpieces, very small. We can't even see them, and it translates everybody's languages for you in real time. And I think that's very basic technology actually right now. Like that's very obvious that that's here. That's cool. I like that I can go to China and interact with everybody who speaks only Mandarin. And so like I'm just thinking about this more holistically than is Bitcoin going to go to 20,000? I mean, I don't give a shit.
But those technologies that you just mentioned that might be happening in the near time future, you had the opportunity to be in CES in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I had an interview with Jason Pfeiffer that I saw that you made a panel together. Which innovation, which invention caught your attention on CES that you could say, you know what, this is the big thing, or there was nothing that impressed you?
I was at CES for 4 days. I've gone to CES 6 years in a row. Outside of the fact, I don't even think, Emily, that interview with Entrepreneur wasn't the main hall, right? That was the most.
Was it like in Samsung stuff?
What's that? Yeah, some state. I mean, that was the first time I'd ever entered an official CES event. I don't like the potential future. I like the actual current. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, I'm not, like the World Fair wouldn't have been anywhere I would have been excited to go in the 60s. I didn't see any technologies.
Wow.
That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking that Facebook creative and podcasting and Alexa skills are not being used enough right now. Like, I'm in the now. I'm not worried about tomorrow, and I'm not worried about yesterday. And so, I will hear about Internet of Things and the smart bathroom. Like, I know what's going on, but I don't need to go physically see it. In the same way that I don't go see Big Ben or the Mona Lisa or the pyramids. I know their existence. I don't need to see things. I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in the opportunities for people to be happier and more successful in the current, because 95% of that is not being taken advantage of.
You just mentioned podcast.
Yes.
I have seen, all the people that is actually watching this interview, they have seen you every time talking more and more about podcasting.
Yes.
What's your take for the next 5 years of podcast, the business by itself?
On a 30-year macro, voice, the written word, and audio will always play. So let's talk about the current state right now. Video's doing really well. Audio is clearly doing really well and emerging more because, but written is kind of a little quieter right now. But in 2006, blogs were big and written was huge. And I'm thinking, wow, should I come out with a new Twitter that has no pictures or video? Like, I'm thinking I already know that written is about to emerge because it's not emerging right now. That somebody's about to invent a text type thing. So, this is tried and true. Those three things will always be important. I'm a huge fan of podcasting and voice, and I think Alexa and Google Home and Apple HomePod and whatever Facebook does and whoever else wants to get into the Baidus and the Tencents and China, there are going to be 7 players in voice. I know this. You're walking into your home in 6 years, 13 years, and you're saying things like turn on the lights, call my aunt, what happened to friction. We are good at eliminating friction, and that is what voice will do. It will eliminate friction. If I can talk to my technology faster than I can type, I will stop typing.
In this answer, you just mentioned twice China, and in the other one you mentioned Asia.
Yes.
And I know that you are looking for this market, not right now, but in the upcoming years. Tell us a little bit about that plan and how do you see Asia as a potential entrepreneurial scenario?
Look, I think China is out innovating the US in a lot of places because of lack of regulation, and one can say that's careless or one can say that's innovative. I don't judge. I don't know. I'm not educated enough. I don't care. Here's what I know. For me to accomplish my ambitions to have enormous entrepreneurial legacy, China and Asia is a part of that. Just like South America is a part of that. And so, unlike South America, I can't win China without winning in China. I can win Brazil and Colombia very easily. It's called Facebook. It's called Instagram. I can't do that in China. So I'm gonna have to go, and I already have set up WeChat and Weibo, and I have to go and be on mainstream media there and do collaborations. So I'm gonna have to go on some long flights and establish my footprint because the digital scale doesn't do it for me. If I wanted to be the most important entrepreneur in Chile in 12 months, I would do it all on Facebook and I would accomplish it.
You just mentioned South America. Well, that's big words.
Well, I was listening to your accent, so I knew I should.
Everybody was like, a little bit shocked. You just mentioned South America.
Yes.
You said that you went twice to Colombia. Please tell us. I mean, we have a big audience in Colombia, in Latin America, and it will be amazing to know your story there.
Yeah, and 4 years ago, and 4 years ago, and 6 years ago, I went to very private events. Maybe 100 people in one, maybe 500 people in one. So probably the second one was like a bigger event. I don't recall the name. I mean, look, I think Colombia is an incredibly beautiful country. When I travel, I don't see much, but to me, it was more about the spirit of the entrepreneurship is what always my radar. It's less about like how pretty is the place, how cool are the people. It's always just about the spirit. For me, I judge strictly on entrepreneurial spirit, and Colombia really caught my attention because people were hungry. Yet not hungry out of desperation. They're not Venezuela hungry. They're not Syria hungry. They're more hungry than, let's say, Argentina. So like that's how I register. Mm-hmm. I enjoy my time there. I've spent a lot of time. I've considered Mexico City as an office. I grew up in the wine business, so Argentina and Chile always have a warm and dear spot to me. One of my best friends is begging me to start vacationing in Uruguay, so I may do that soon. And honestly, it's not a very long flight, and it's on my radar. And obviously, the incredible Latin influence on America over the next 40 years. I don't even think about Hispanic marketing or things of that nature. I just think it's America. I just default into, the cuisine and the sports and the music. I started a playlist on Spotify called Monday to Monday for me to share up and coming artists. I've been putting an enormous amount of Spanish-only music that I don't understand a single. But I'm not talking about J Balvin who and people like that who are and Luis and like who are making their music Americanized. I'm putting like a straight fucking, Latin, true, like you guys can listen to it, not Americans can, to give it exposure for one reason. Just to start building relationships with the tastemakers of the culture, because I know that I'm going to be in the culture in a decade. So I'm an unbelievably deep listener. I know what's going on with a lot of stuff that I don't talk about because it's still metabolizing in my head. I bought crypto in 2014, but I never talked about it because I knew I didn't have my thoughts completely figured out. I know that I'm obsessed with Latin hip hop because I could just taste it from a mile away that it's about to win, but I don't fully understand it. I don't know all the players. Like I know what's going on with Bad Bunny and all that, but like I'm not there yet.
Got it.
I know what's going on with Russian, but I'm not all the way there yet. You know what I mean?
Totally. There's so much topics that we would love to, but we know that we are.
Yes, Emily's Emily did this weird thing.
Exactly.
She did this weird
thing. So I just want to know. Agent 2021.
Yes.
A recap of this amazing event.
Yes. You enjoy? Oh, from my perspective?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Like, here's what I can tell. It's going well. We're in the middle of it right now. For a first time event, it's grand, right? It's like a stadium. Like, I think my team did an incredible job. I'm sure we'll recap some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses. Here's what I can tell you. The 2019 version of this event is going to be pretty gangster. We put this together let me rephrase. My team put this together we decided in October to do this, which I've come to learn is not a lot of time for an event, especially when you factor in Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So I'm very proud of what we've been able to do, and I have a lot of ambition for this event. We always end up these interviews with huge celebrities or personalities that have, that extra mile and that can give, a good message and advice or a tip for the next generation of entrepreneurs in this case. Which will be your best tip of advice to all this audience that would, see you and it's like a role model stuff? Patience. Fucking patience. Everybody wants everything too fast and it hurts them and you start making mistakes and you take shortcuts and it all comes from insecurity. If you actually value somebody else's opinion about you, you are vulnerable. And that doesn't mean respect other people's points of view or have differences. That means you think somebody's point of view on you actually means something. That makes you vulnerable. That makes you go out and want to buy a BMW to close the gap on that insecurity, which then makes you try to make money in the short term, which makes you take out a loan. Somebody just told me, I know this kid who took out $2,000 credit card bill to buy cryptocurrency, but he bought it at 17 and now it's not. Like, why? So that he could buy a new pair of Supremes? So he could have a fucking Louis Vuitton? What, to make some girl think he's cool? Or like, it's just not smart. It's so broken. Patience and self-esteem. That's what I give a shit about.
From Crushing It, we have the opportunity here to have this amazing book. It's not yet on the shelves.
No, next week.
We saw yesterday
Yes.
that you were, it was amazing. It was so crazy how you jumped from 20 position worldwide to 12 this morning.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit what happened. How was that
Facebook
connection?
Live. Facebook Live is an incredible format for me because I'm improv. I'm good live. I'm good in this. I'm good at interviews. I'm good on stage, and I'm really good on live. And you know, honestly, if you listen to what I did last night, I did something pretty sneaky that I'm proud of. I really like Damon John. He's just a nice guy. He's a good dude. He's trying to get his. He's a good dude. So I decided to do a joke where it was his day yesterday. Yesterday his book came out. And I noticed that we were very close in the standings.
And he went to all mainstream media.
He was doing all this stuff, and he was number 17 in the world, and I was number 20 in the world, and Amazon's rank. And I thought I could do something clever, which was, I thought I could bring a lot of exposure to his book in a different way than a lot of people do for their friends. Instead of doing what everybody does, which puts a post out and says, yo, check out my homie's book, I decided to make it entertaining and make it about me trying to pass him with my book in the live stream, which was a win-win-win for everybody. Everybody who was on the other side of that for an hour was entertained. I got a lot of feedback. People thought it was funny and interesting and cool. I got to sell a lot of books because people wanted to support me to pass Damon. But most importantly, and the reason I even did it in the first place, a lot of my audience that doesn't know Damon or care about Damon or think I'm cooler than Damon or doesn't care about Shark Tank got to know that he had a book, got to hear that I thought he was a good guy, and my great hope was that he got a lot of sales out of that on his big day. Doing the right thing is always the right thing. You just have to be smart enough to see what's actually happening.
It is called Crushing It, 30th of January, correct? 30th of January?
Yes.
Crushing It, the one and only, the original, the rockstar of social media, Gary Vee on the Millennial Way Show. Gary, we have
thank you.
A little present for you.
Thank you very much.
Our slogan is
I'm gonna make you,
empowering
listen,
the new
I like
generation.
this team so much, I'm going to do something very nice. If you ship this to me in New York, I will put it behind my shelf so people can see it.
Wow.
That's the ultimate spot right now in my world.
It's on the record.
On the record. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, Gary. Really appreciate it. Thank you.